Hello, friends. Have you ever had the words in your mind but couldn't say them out loud in English? You understood everything, but when it came time to speak, your confidence disappeared. That moment of hesitation, that fear of making a mistake, of being judged, of freezing in the middle of a sentence, it's something so many people face. Fluency grows through consistent speaking, not silent studying. This is a truth that many English learners overlook. They spend hours memorizing grammar rules, watching videos, reading articles, and completing exercises, all in silence. While these activities are helpful in building a foundation, they are not what develops fluency. Fluency is an active skill. It is the ability to express your thoughts smoothly and clearly in real time. And like any active skill, like playing a musical instrument, riding a bike or swimming, it cannot be mastered by observation or theory alone. You must practice doing it consistently. Many learners confuse knowledge with fluency. They believe that if they understand English, they should be able to speak it. But understanding and producing language are two very different things. A person might understand every word in a movie or an article, but still struggle to form sentences when asked a simple question. This is because passive learning builds recognition, while speaking builds production. The muscle of your speaking ability is only strengthened when you use it regularly. Reading about grammar is not the same as using grammar in a sentence. Watching someone speak is not the same as having to recall words quickly in conversation. If you want to be fluent, you have to speak. The key is consistency. Speaking once a week or only during language class is not enough. The brain needs frequent exposure and repetition to create strong language pathways. That's why daily speaking practice, even if it's just for a few minutes, is far more powerful than hours of silent study. It's not about how long you study, but how often you speak. The more you speak, the more comfortable you become. The words come faster. The fear reduces. Your brain becomes better at organizing thoughts in English. Your pronunciation improves. Your flow becomes smoother. You begin to think in English, not just translate from your native language. Consistency doesn't mean you need a speaking partner every day. You can practice on your own. Talk to yourself. Describe your surroundings. Share your thoughts aloud in English. Record your voice and listen back. Repeat dialogues from your favorite shows. Shadow native speakers by mimicking their rhythm and tone. These small, regular speaking exercises train your brain to respond in English. It's like working out. Your muscles need regular movement to stay strong. Your speaking ability needs regular practice to stay sharp. Many people feel shy or embarrassed to speak because they're afraid of making mistakes. But mistakes are a natural part of the learning process. In fact, they are necessary. When you speak, you might use the wrong word, mispronounce something, or pause awkwardly. That's okay. Every time you do, your brain is learning what works and what doesn't. Silent studying avoids these mistakes, but it also avoids the learning that comes from them. Real progress happens when you step outside your comfort zone. Speaking forces you to recall vocabulary, construct sentences, and communicate under pressure. This pressure is what builds fluency. Silent study feels safe, but it doesn't challenge you enough to grow. Think about how babies learn their first language. They don't sit in classrooms or read textbooks. They listen, repeat, try, fail, and keep speaking. They practice all day, every day, and over time, they become fluent. They don't wait until they've mastered the grammar to start talking. They talk their way into fluency. Adults can learn in a similar way if they're willing to let go of the fear of sounding imperfect. If you make speaking a daily habit, even in small doses, you will improve faster than you imagine. Another reason why consistent speaking matters is that language is meant to be heard and spoken. It is not just a system of rules. It is a living, breathing tool for communication. When you use it the way it's meant to be used, it becomes part of you. The vocabulary you speak out loud becomes easier to remember. The grammar you use while talking becomes more natural. Fluency is not about remembering rules in your head. It's about using those rules automatically when you speak. And this automatic use comes only from real, repeated experience. Some learners spend years stuck in the intermediate level because they keep learning passively but rarely speak. They consume content but don't create with it. They understand but cannot respond. To move forward, they need to shift from passive intake to active output. They need to make speaking the center of their practice. Just as a person doesn't learn to play piano by only listening to music, you cannot learn to speak English fluently by only listening or reading. You have to speak, stumble, adjust, and speak again. That's how fluency is built. Not in silence, but in sound. Not in one burst, but through daily, consistent effort. The breakthrough comes not from the knowledge you collect, but from the words you dare to say out loud. Confidence is the foundation of fluency. Not the result of it. Most English learners believe they will finally feel confident once they become fluent, once they have mastered enough grammar, learned enough vocabulary, or sounded more like a native speaker. But that mindset creates a delay, a trap where they keep waiting for some invisible finish line to give them permission to speak freely. The truth is that fluency begins to grow the moment you choose to act with confidence, not after you reach a certain level of perfection. Confidence is not something that appears magically. It is built step by step, through action, through effort, through facing discomfort and pushing through it again and again. Every fluent speaker was once unsure, once nervous, once afraid of being judged or misunderstood. But what set them apart is that they spoke anyway. They didn't wait to feel ready. They didn't wait to be perfect. They spoke while they were still learning, still making mistakes, still figuring things out. And because they chose to act with confidence, even in small moments, their fluency started to grow. Confidence gives you the courage to speak. Speaking gives you the experience to improve. Improvement builds real fluency. Without confidence, this cycle cannot even begin. It's easy to confuse confidence with skill. Many people who have excellent grammar or a large vocabulary still hesitate to speak. They feel stuck, not because they don't know enough, but because they doubt themselves. That doubt blocks their voice. On the other hand, someone with basic English but strong confidence can express ideas clearly and connect with others. Confidence creates presence. It creates energy. People are drawn to speakers who believe in their words, even if their words are simple. Fluency isn't just about language. It's about delivering your message in a way that feels authentic and powerful. Building confidence starts with mindset. You have to stop comparing yourself to others. You have to stop judging your accent or your speed. Everyone learns at a different pace. Everyone has a different voice. Your English doesn't need to be perfect to be powerful. It needs to be heard. And the only way it will be heard is if you trust yourself enough to speak. You might say something wrong. You might get stuck. That's okay. Those moments don't define your ability. They're part of your growth. Every time you speak, you're practicing not just your English, but your courage. When you ask a question in English, even if you're nervous, you've already won. When you join a conversation, even if you say the wrong word, you're learning. When you give your opinion, even if it's not perfect, you're building strength. Confidence is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And as it grows, so does your fluency. Because the fear that once held you back starts to fade. You begin to speak more freely, more easily, more naturally. A big mistake learners make is waiting until they feel confident before they take action. But confidence doesn't come first. Action does. You have to take the first step without knowing how it will go. You have to try, even when your voice shakes. That is where real growth happens. Fluency is the reward for those who speak through fear, not for those who hide from it. When you speak regularly, even in small ways, your brain begins to adapt. Your memory becomes faster. Your reactions become sharper. Your mind begins to think in English. And slowly, your confidence transforms into competence. Another important truth is that people don't judge you as harshly as you think. Most listeners admire your effort. They respect your determination. They understand how hard it is to learn a new language. And even if they notice a mistake, it usually doesn't matter. What matters is your ability to connect, to express, to keep going. Confidence allows you to move past perfection and focus on communication. And communication is the real goal of language. Fluency becomes possible when confidence clears the way. Without confidence, your knowledge stays locked inside. Your voice stays quiet. Your ideas stay hidden. But with confidence, even simple words can make a deep impact. You don't have to be the best speaker. You just have to be a brave one, a consistent one, a speaker who chooses to show up again and again, no matter what. Confidence is what makes that possible. And once you start, the path to fluency becomes clearer with every word you say. So if you're waiting for the perfect time, the perfect words, or the perfect accent, stop waiting. Start now. Speak now. Make mistakes.